The rain wouldn't stop that night. It hit the roof like 1,000 tiny hammers, steady and cold. I pushed the door open, soaked to the bone, clutching the envelope that held my termination letter. "Elena?" I called out. My voice cracked. "You home?" She was standing in the living room, suitcase beside her. Her phone was in her hand, the light reflecting off her face. I frowned. "You going somewhere?" She didn't answer. She just sighed, looking everywhere except at me. "Elena," I tried again, stepping closer. "Talk to me." "I'm leaving, Ethan." The words didn't make sense. "Leaving? What do you mean, leaving?" She looked at me then, eyes sharp, distant. "I can't do this anymore," I laughed, soft, confused. "Do what? Pay rent? Wait for me to find another job? It's been 2 weeks. I'll get back on my feet." She shook her head slowly. "You don't get it. I'm tired of waiting for you to become someone." Her words hit harder than the rain outside. "Someone?" I whispered. "You think I'm no one?" "I think you're stuck," she said. "And I can't stay stuck with you." I dropped my bag. "You said you loved me." I did. Her voice cracked just a little. "But love doesn't pay bills, Ethan. So that's it? You're leaving because I lost my job?" She exhaled. "Because you always lose something. Your job, your drive, your plans. I need stability." I felt my chest tighten. "Stability? Or money?" She looked away. "Call it whatever you want." I stepped closer. "There's someone else, isn't there?" Her silence was the answer. "Who?" I asked, my voice low. Her phone buzzed. She hesitated, then picked it up. "Ryan," she said quietly. My stomach dropped. "Ryan, Blake?" She nodded. "My boss?" I choked out. "The same guy who fired me last week?" "He offered me something better," she said, voice trembling. "A future. A chance to breathe." I stared at her like she'd turned into someone else. "A chance to breathe? You're calling betrayal oxygen now?" "Don't twist it, Ethan. You always make everything sound dramatic." "Because it is dramatic, Elena. You're walking out on me when I need you most." She flinched but didn't stop packing. I tried. I really did. But you keep failing, and I can't keep drowning with you. I grabbed the edge of the suitcase. "You don't have to drown. We can fix this." She pulled it from my hand. "You can't fix what's already broken." "Elena, please." My voice cracked. "You said we were a team." Her eyes softened for a second. "Teams need winners, Ethan." I froze. That one sentence, it killed everything inside me. Outside, a car horn honked twice. She picked up her bag and walked toward the door. "Is that him?" I asked. She didn't answer. I stepped in front of her. "Don't do this." "Don't walk out that door. Move." "Elena, I lost my job, not my worth. Don't throw us away for a paycheck," she whispered. I already did. Something broke inside me. I felt it. "You'll regret this," I said softly. "One day when the money fades and he shows you who he really is, you'll remember this moment." She looked at me, tears filling her eyes. "Maybe I will, but by then it'll be too late for us." Her words sliced deeper than anything I'd heard before. I didn't move. I couldn't. She reached for the doorknob. "Goodbye, Ethan." I swallowed hard. "Tell Ryan thanks for the promotion he didn't deserve." She hesitated for a heartbeat, then opened the door. The rain spilled in, drenching the floor. A black car waited by the curb, headlights cutting through the darkness. Ryan leaned against it, umbrella in hand, smirking like he'd already won. He looked at me. "Rough night?" I clenched my fists. "You really needed to steal everything, didn't you?" He smiled. "Just the things you didn't know how to keep." Elena slipped past me, not looking back. The door shut. The sound echoed in my chest. For a long time, I just stood there, staring at the empty space where she'd been. The rain kept falling. "Harder now," I whispered to no one. "Guess you were right. Elena, I am stuck." I looked at the crumpled envelope in my hand, the one that ended my career, and felt something shift inside. "If this is rock bottom," I muttered, "then maybe it's time I learn how to climb." I didn't know it yet. But that night, the night she walked away, was the night I started becoming someone she'd never recognize again. "Coffee?" Her voice pulled me back to reality. I'd been staring at the same empty cup for half an hour. "Yeah," I muttered. "Black, no sugar?" The waitress nodded. "You've been here 3 nights straight," she said. "You working on something?" Trying to, I said, mostly pretending I still exist. She smiled faintly. That's one way to start a week. I watched her walk away, then looked at the paper napkin covered in scribbles, half-finished code, scattered thoughts. None of it made sense, but it was all I had left. My phone buzzed. Mom. Again. I stared at the screen until it stopped ringing. If I picked up, I'd have to lie. Tell her I was fine. Tell her Elena was fine. Tell her I wasn't sleeping in a cafe because my landlord changed the locks. The waitress came back with the coffee. Rough night? Rough month, I said. You look like you haven't slept in days. Because I haven't. She sat the cup down gently. You know, people usually come here to escape their lives, not rebuild them. Maybe I'm trying to do both. She tilted her head. That thing you're writing, is it code? Yeah, or something close. I used to build software. Lost my job. Sorry, she said softly. Don't be. Everyone loses something eventually, she studied me. Girlfriend? I looked at her, caught off guard. Why would you say that? Because you keep checking your phone like you're waiting for a text that won't come. I forced a laugh. You're observant. It's part of the job, she said. I'm Maya. Ethan. Nice to meet you, Ethan. You planning to keep coding here forever? Until the manager kicks me out. I am the manager tonight, she said. Then I guess I'm safe. She smiled, then walked off to serve another table. For a few seconds, I almost forgot how heavy everything felt. Then I made the mistake of opening my phone. Elena's face filled the screen, smiling beside Ryan in front of some expensive restaurant. Her hand rested on his chest. She wore the necklace I bought her for our anniversary. The caption read, New Beginnings. I stared at it until my vision blurred. Everything okay? Maya's voice came again. Yeah, I lied. Just checking something. You look like someone just punched you. Something like that. Want to talk about it? Not really, she didn't push. Sometimes it helps. She left, I said finally. Said I wasn't enough. Maya frowned. That's rough. She found someone richer. My old boss. Ouch. Yeah, double promotion for her, I guess. People like that don't stay happy for long, she said. Maybe not, I murmured. But she looks happy now. She's posing for a picture, Maya said. Everybody looks happy in pictures. I looked up at her. You really believe that? She shrugged. You don't strike me as the kind of guy who gives up. So maybe it's time to stop staring at her life and start fixing yours. I smiled weakly. You're surprisingly motivational for a night shift waitress, she grinned. That's because I've seen too many people break here. Some find a reason to get back up. I like those ones. Her words lingered long after she walked away. I stared at the napkin again, at the half-written lines of code. It didn't look like much, but it was something. Maybe the only thing that still belonged to me. The cafe grew quiet after midnight. Just the hum of the coffee machine and the rain tapping the window. I pulled another napkin closer and kept writing. By dawn, I had a rough prototype, ugly, incomplete, but alive. For the first time in weeks, I felt a spark inside me. Maya walked by, yawning. You're still here? Yeah, I said, smiling faintly. I think I just built something. Good, she said. Maybe it's the start of something better. I watched her walk away, the sunlight creeping through the glass. Maybe it was. Maybe this was where everything started again. Ethan, Maya said, sliding into the booth across from me. You're going to burn a hole through that napkin. I looked down. Another one covered in half-finished code. Better the napkin than my head, I said. She smiled faintly. Still on that project of yours? Project's a strong word, I said. It's just me and some caffeine-induced hallucinations. Well, she said, stirring her coffee, you might want to hallucinate in front of someone with money. I raised a brow. What? My brother's in town, Arjun. He invests in small tech ideas. I told him about you? You told him what exactly? That you're some half-crazy genius who writes algorithms on napkins. I groaned. Wow, thanks for the glowing review, she laughed. Relax, he's curious. I showed him one of your sketches. He said, and I quote, if it works, it could be huge. I blinked. He said that? She nodded. He's coming by tonight, I hesitated. I'm not ready. You've been ready since the night I met you, she said. You just don't believe it yet. I wanted to argue, but her tone didn't leave space for doubt. An hour later, a man walked in wearing a worn leather jacket and calm confidence. Maya waved him over. "Ethan, this is my brother, Arjun. Arjun, the code guy." He shook my hand firmly. "So you're the one scribbling AI on napkins?" "Guilty," I said. He grinned. "Mind showing me what's on them?" I hesitated, then spread the napkins on the table. "It's an adaptive analytics model," I said. "It predicts consumer behavior using live data. Kind of like emotional intelligence for businesses." He studied my notes, quiet for a long minute. Then he looked up. "You wrote all this by hand?" "Couldn't afford a laptop," I said. "So yeah, I improvised," he smiled slightly. "That's dedication, or desperation." "I like both. I've got plenty of both," I said. "What do you need?" I frowned. "What do you mean? Money? Time? Equipment? How much do you need to get a working prototype?" I blinked. "You're serious?" He nodded. "I don't waste time. You either convince me or you don't." I took a deep breath. 5,000. Enough to rent a desk, buy a computer, and eat something that isn't day-old muffins. He chuckled. "Straightforward." "I like that," Maya smiled at him. "You're actually considering it?" "I'm considering him," Arjun said. "He's got that look. The kind of guy who's already lost everything once, so now he's dangerous." I raised a brow. "Dangerous," he nodded. "Because when you've got nothing left to lose, you stop hesitating." I leaned back. "Then yeah, I guess I'm dangerous." He extended his hand again. "Deal." I stared at him. "Just like that?" "Just like that," he said. "I'm not buying your idea, Ethan. I'm investing in you." Maya smiled at me like she'd known it would happen all along. That night, I walked out of the cafe with $5,000 in my pocket and something I hadn't felt in months: belief. The next morning, I rented a corner desk in a co-working space that smelled like burnt coffee and dreams. It was perfect. I bought a cheap laptop and spent 12 straight hours coding, then 12 more. Every time my fingers slowed, I heard Elena's voice in my head. "You'll never make it." I smiled bitterly. "Watch me." Lines of code filled the screen. I built until my eyes ached, until I forgot what day it was. Maya brought food sometimes, claiming she was checking on the investment. Arjun dropped by once, nodding in approval when he saw the progress. "How's it going?" he asked one night. "I think it's alive," I said, half joking. He looked at the screen, where numbers danced in perfect rhythm. "Then keep feeding it," he said. "But don't forget to feed yourself. I'll eat when it works," I said. He laughed. "That's the spirit. Obsession builds empires." When they left, I sat in the dim light, watching the program respond for the first time. It wasn't perfect, far from it, but it worked. I whispered to myself, maybe I'm not broken after all. The cafe across the street was still open. The rain had started again, tapping gently on the window. I watched the reflections of passing cars and thought of Elena, her voice, her smirk, her goodbye. For the first time, it didn't hurt as much. It burned, but in a way that pushed me forward. That pain became my spark, and I wasn't planning to let it die. "Ethan, the servers are down again," Liam shouted from across the cramped office. I rubbed my eyes. "Did you check the debug logs?" "Yeah, but it's throwing some weird loop. Something about memory overflow." "Kill the process," I said, "then restart the service manually." He nodded and turned back to his monitor, mumbling something about caffeine shortages. The hum of machines filled the air. Our office was barely more than a converted storage unit. 2 desks, tangled wires, and an old coffee maker that hissed like it hated us. But it was ours. Maya walked in holding a paper bag. "Lunch, geniuses. Eat before you code yourselves into the grave." I took a sandwich and smiled. "You sound like my conscience." "Someone has to be," she said, sitting on the edge of my desk. "By the way, Nina Brooks is calling at 3. Investor rep. Don't forget to sound like you sleep." "Too late for that," I said. She grinned. "Fake it. You're good at pretending things are fine." Her words stung a little, but she wasn't wrong. At exactly 3, my phone buzzed. I put it on speaker. "This is Ethan from Nova Mind," a calm voice answered. "Nina Brooks here. I've reviewed your pitch deck. It's impressive." "Thank you," I said. "We're still in early development, but the traction's been promising." Your user metrics suggest rapid growth, she said. That's rare for a team your size. What's your secret? Sleep deprivation and optimism, I said. She laughed softly. Honesty. I like that. We're interested in exploring a seed investment. I glanced at Maya. Her eyes widened. Wow, thank you, I said quickly. What would next steps look like? I'll send over a term sheet by Friday. In the meantime, keep your growth rate steady. Investors like momentum. Understood. Good. And Ethan? Yeah? Don't lose whatever fire built this. Most founders do once the money shows up. The call ended. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the ceiling. Maya clapped once. Did we just get an investor?
I smiled weakly.
We might have. Liam popped his head up. Wait, are we rich now? Not yet, I said. But maybe a little less broke. He cheered and went back to typing furiously. The next few weeks blurred. Meetings, calls, revisions, bugs, coffee, and more coffee. Novamind began to breathe on its own. We hit 10,000 users, then 20. One night, Maya found me still coding at 2 a.m. You need to go home, she said. I don't really have a home, I said. Just an address, she sighed. You know, you don't have to keep punishing yourself. I'm not, I said. I'm building something that lasts. She looked at me quietly for a moment. You ever think about her? I froze. Who? Elena, she said softly. I swallowed hard. Sometimes. Not like before. It's not love anymore.
It's just
noise. She doesn't deserve space in your head, Maya said. I know, I said, but she built part of the fire that keeps me going. I can't hate that, Maya nodded. Then turn it into something better. That night, I pushed one final update before collapsing into the chair. When I woke up, Liam was shaking me. Ethan, we got it, the contract. A real one. I blinked. What contract? He waved an email. Databridge. They want to license our AI module. 6 figures. I stared at him, not believing it. You're serious? Completely, he said, almost bouncing. We're official. Maya burst in, holding her phone. I just got the confirmation too. I felt my chest tighten. My vision blurred. Ethan? She said softly. Hey, you okay? I laughed, a quiet, broken sound. Yeah, just give me a second. I walked outside. The morning air was cool, sharp. I sat on the steps and buried my face in my hands. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was drowning. Maya came out after a while. We did it, she said gently. I nodded. No, you helped me do it. I wouldn't have made it without you, she smiled. Maybe, but you were the one who didn't quit. I exhaled. Watching the city come alive, cars honking, people rushing, sunlight bouncing off windows. This, I said, feels like starting over. She sat beside me. So what now? I thought for a moment. Now we grow. Novamind becomes something bigger than revenge. Something that matters. She nudged my shoulder. And maybe you finally get some rest, I chuckled. Rest sounds terrifying, she laughed. You'll get used to it. When I went back inside, Liam was playing music from his phone. Something upbeat and loud. Boss, he said proudly, we're officially legit. I smiled. Then let's make sure we stay that way, he saluted dramatically. Aye, Captain, Maya rolled her eyes. God help us. I leaned against my desk, looking around the tiny office, the wires, the monitors, the cracked window that whistled in the wind. It wasn't much, but it was everything. Later that evening, when everyone left, I stood alone under the dim light. I opened my old email drafts, the unsent one to Elena. I hovered over it for a long time, then deleted it without opening it. The ache was still there, but it didn't control me anymore. I whispered to the empty room, You were wrong. Elena, I made it. Then I closed my laptop and smiled, because for the first time in years, I finally believed it. Sir, your car's ready, the driver said. I glanced up from my phone. Thanks, let's go. 2 years. 2 years since I'd slept on cafe tables. Now people called me visionary. Funny how pain ages differently when you wear it in silence. The tech summit hall glittered like a city of glass. Banners, cameras, eager faces. I straightened my tie and tried not to feel the weight of it. Ethan Cole, the host greeted, shaking my hand. It's an honor to have you as our keynote speaker. Thank you, I said, smiling politely. Let's make it worth their time. As I walked toward the backstage area, I heard a familiar laugh. Light, sharp, rehearsed. My stomach tightened before my mind even caught up. That voice. I turned. There she was. Elena. Standing near the entrance. Dressed in silver, her hand resting on the arm of Ryan Blake. For a moment, everything went silent. My heartbeat filled the space between us. Ryan looked older, pale, thinner, eyes heavy with something that looked like defeat. Elena's smile was brittle, the kind you wear when your soul's tired of pretending. She hadn't seen me yet. I almost walked away. Almost. Then she turned. Our eyes met, her lips parted slightly. Ethan? I took a slow breath. Hello, Elena. Ryan turned too. Well, if it isn't my old employee. His voice had that same smug tone, but it trembled faintly. Ex-employee, I said. You fired me, remember? He smirked weakly. And yet here you are, still chasing attention. Or maybe I stopped chasing people who didn't see my worth, I said calmly. Elena's gaze flickered between us. Ethan, Relax, I cut in. You don't owe me an explanation. We're just two people attending the same event. Ryan forced a laugh. You're speaking here? They must be desperate for content. Before I could reply, the event coordinator called, Mr. Cole, you're up next. Ryan's smirk vanished. Elena blinked. You're the speaker? I smiled faintly. Surprise. She stepped back, eyes wide. Ryan's jaw tightened, a faint sweat forming at his temple. I walked past them, my reflection catching in the glass door, confident, composed, unrecognizable from the man she left behind. On stage, the lights were blinding. The crowd buzzed with anticipation. The host's voice boomed. Please welcome the founder and CEO of Nova Mind, billionaire entrepreneur Ethan Cole. The applause hit like thunder. For a heartbeat, I glanced toward the audience and saw her. Elena froze, her hand gripping Ryan's arm. He sat stiff, his face pale under the lights. I started my speech. 2 years ago, I was jobless, broke, and invisible. I had nothing but an idea and a reason to prove that failure isn't the end. The crowd leaned in. I kept my tone steady. People often ask what motivated me. Truth is, pain did. Betrayal did. When you lose everything, you learn who you are. I saw her swallow hard. Ryan looked away. I continued. Nova Mind was built in a cafe, with borrowed Wi-Fi and sleepless nights. No investors, no safety net. Just belief and a promise to myself that I'd never beg for validation again. Applause rose again, but I wasn't hearing it. My eyes stayed locked on her. Her expression cracked, a mix of pride, shame, and something I hadn't seen in years. Regret. I smiled softly. Sometimes life breaks you on purpose, to make room for something stronger. When the speech ended, the audience stood. Cameras flashed. I stepped off stage, shaking hands, smiling for photos, but my focus was still on her. She approached slowly. Ethan, I didn't know. I didn't know what? I asked quietly. That you'd become this, she whispered. You look different. I am different, I said. Her voice trembled. You must hate me, I shook my head. No, hate takes energy. I used mine to build, she looked down. Ryan's company is collapsing. He made mistakes, I nodded once. Sounds familiar, tears filled her eyes. I'm sorry. I really am. I studied her. The woman who once shattered me now standing like a shadow of herself. I believed you were my ending, I said. Turns out you were just the start. She reached out, but I stepped back. Goodbye, Elena. Ethan, please. I turned away, walking toward the exit as the crowd swarmed behind me. Outside, the night air felt sharp, alive. Maya texted, "Saw your speech." You killed it, I smiled. Thanks. Ghosts finally buried. As my car door closed, I glanced once more at the glowing building and at the faint reflection of who I used to be. That man was gone. I had risen, and she finally saw it. I was leaving the hotel lobby when I heard my name. Ethan, please wait. I stopped, the sound of her voice freezing the air around me. I turned slowly. Elena stood near the elevators, her makeup smudged, eyes red. Can we talk? she asked. I nodded toward a quiet corner. You've got 5 minutes. She sat down, trembling slightly. You probably don't want to hear this. You're right, I said. She looked down. Ryan's gone.
He left me. I stayed silent. He cheated, she continued.
With his assistant. Took everything. The house, the money, even my car. That's rough, I said flatly. Her lips quivered. You don't care? I shrugged. You cared when I lost everything? Her breath hitched. That's not fair. Neither was what you did, I said quietly. She pressed her palms together. I was scared, Ethan. You were drowning and I didn't know how to save you. Ryan promised stability. I thought I was choosing safety. I leaned back. You didn't choose safety. You chose comfort. There's a difference, she swallowed hard. I was stupid. No, I said. You were honest. You wanted a life I couldn't give. That's okay, her eyes glistened. But look at you now. You made it. I always knew you could, I gave a faint smile. No, you didn't. If you did, you wouldn't have walked away. She looked down again. I regret it every day. I used to too, I said. Then I realized regret doesn't build anything. She flinched at my tone. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry. Sorry changes nothing, I said. You leaving broke me, but it also woke me up. She blinked. What do you mean? When you walked out, I thought my life ended. Turns out it started there. Tears rolled down her cheeks. You hate me, don't you? I shook my head. No, I don't hate you. I outgrew you, her eyes widened. Outgrew me? Yeah, I said softly. You were my whole world once. Now you're just a story I tell myself when I need to remember why I started. She covered her mouth, stifling a sob. Ethan, I loved you. Maybe you did, I said. But love that leaves when life gets hard isn't love. It's convenience. Her tears fell faster. Please, don't be like this. Like what? I asked. Honest? She shook her head. Cold. I looked her in the eyes. No, Elena, I was cold when I was begging you to stay. Now I'm calm. She stared at me for a long moment, then whispered, I miss us. I smiled faintly. There is no us. There's who we were and who we became after. I prefer the second one. Her voice cracked. You've changed. I had to, I said. Pain teaches better than love ever did. She looked at the floor. Ryan said you'd never make it. Ryan said a lot of things, I replied. Now he can watch me from the bottom. She let out a bitter laugh through her tears. I deserve that. I didn't say that, I said. Karma did. She wiped her eyes. You sound different. Success doesn't change you, I said. It just removes your mask. She took a shaky breath. Ethan, could we maybe start over? I almost laughed, but stopped myself. Start over? No, Elena, I started over already. You just weren't part of it, she went silent. The lobby felt heavier, quieter. Finally, she whispered, Then thank you. For not yelling. For listening. I should be the one thanking you, I said. She frowned. For what? For leaving, I said simply. If you hadn't, I'd still be the man begging for your approval instead of the one who built his own life. Her tears stopped. She looked at me like she didn't recognize me. I never thought I'd lose you like this, she said. You didn't lose me, I said softly. You traded me. You just didn't realize the price. She covered her face, crying quietly. People passed by staring, but I didn't move. When she finally looked up, I stood. Take care of yourself, Elena, she reached out weakly. Ethan, wait, I smiled politely. Goodbye. As I walked toward the doors, I heard her sob behind me, but I felt nothing. No anger, no ache. Just silence. Clean, final, peaceful. Outside, the night air touched my skin, cool and light. I exhaled, smiled to myself, and whispered, Thank you. For ending me when you did. Because that ending became everything I am now. The city outside my window was quiet, but my mind wasn't. I couldn't stop replaying Elena's voice, the way she said Ryan left me. I poured a drink I didn't need. He took everything, I muttered to myself. Maybe I should take everything from him. A knock broke the thought. Come in, I said. Maya stepped inside, holding 2 coffees. You're still awake? Couldn't sleep. She handed me a cup. Thinking about her? No, I lied. Thinking about him. She sat across from me. Ryan? I nodded. His company's collapsing. I could buy it tomorrow and bury it for good. She raised a brow. So why haven't you? I looked down at the glass in my hand. Because part of me wants to. Desperately. The same part that remembers every insult, every look they gave me when I had nothing. Maya leaned forward. And the other part? The other part's tired, I said. Tired of living in the past? She studied me for a moment. You know, revenge sounds sweet until it starts tasting like ash. I exhaled slowly. He ruined my career. Took my girl. Humiliated me. Yeah, she said softly. And you rebuilt your life without him. That's the difference. You moved on. He didn't. I shook my head. Moving on doesn't erase the memory. No, she said. But neither does revenge. I set the glass down. He deserves it, though. Don't you think? She crossed her arms. Maybe he does. But ask yourself something, what do you deserve? I frowned. What do you mean? You spent years clawing your way out of hell, she said. Why go back just to drag someone else into it? Her words hit harder than I wanted to admit. I thought destroying him would make me feel better, I said quietly. Would it? She asked. I hesitated. Maybe for a moment. And after that, I sighed. After that, nothing. Just emptiness, she nodded. That's how it works. Revenge feels like power, but it's really just pain with a new name. I laughed bitterly. You should write that on a wall somewhere. I mean it, Ethan, she said, her tone softening. If you burn others, you'll smell like smoke too. I stared at her, the words hanging in the air. You really think walking away makes me stronger? I don't think, she said. I know. You already won, Ethan. You just haven't accepted it yet. I looked out the window again. The city lights flickered against the glass. Winning doesn't feel like this. Because you're still measuring victory by the people who hurt you, she said. Stop comparing. Start living, I turned back to her. You make it sound easy. It's not, she admitted. But it's peaceful. And peace lasts longer than revenge ever will. I rubbed my temples. So what, I just let him walk away? Let him drown himself, she said simply. He doesn't need your help to fail. Her confidence made me laugh. You really believe that? She smiled faintly. I've seen karma work faster than any plan. I thought about Ryan, his smug grin, his downfall, his silence at the summit. He was already falling. He just didn't know how to stop. Maybe you're right, I said. She stood, placing a hand on my shoulder. You don't need revenge, Ethan. You need rest. As she left, I sat there staring at the untouched drink. For years, revenge had been my shadow, quiet, patient, whispering promises I thought I wanted. Now it felt small, empty. I took the drink and poured it down the sink. The splash sounded final. Outside, the first light of dawn cut through the skyline. The city looked different somehow, not brighter, just lighter. I whispered to myself, you don't heal by breaking others. The words felt strange, but right. Ryan would crumble, Elena would fade, and I'd keep building, not because they deserved punishment, but because I deserved peace. I stood by the window, watching the sunrise reflect on the glass towers I'd once only dreamed of working in. For the first time, I didn't think about what I'd lost. I thought about everything I'd become. Maya slid the newspaper across my desk. You've seen this? I glanced down. Ryan Pierce Holdings declares bankruptcy amid fraud allegations. For a moment, I just stared at the headline. So it finally happened, she nodded. It's everywhere. News outlets, Twitter, even Reddit. They're tearing him apart. I leaned back in my chair. Guess karma doesn't take bribes, Maya smirked. You're not even a little satisfied? I thought about it. Maybe I should be, but mostly, I just feel still. Still? She asked. Yeah, like the storm finally passed. She studied me. You're not planning to reach out to her, are you? Elena? I asked. No, there's nothing left to say. She disappeared online, Maya said. No posts, no stories, nothing for a week. I noticed, I admitted. But she's not my story anymore. Maya smiled faintly. That's growth, I laughed softly. Took me long enough. She leaned on the desk. So what now, Mr. Cole? Gonna buy a yacht? Celebrate your peaceful revenge arc? I shook my head. No yachts. I've got better uses for money. Oh? I've been thinking about that foundation I mentioned. For people trying to start over. Small entrepreneurs, the kind no one funds. Maya's face softened.
You're serious?
Completely, I said. I know what it's like to have no one believe in you. Maybe I can change that for someone else. That's actually beautiful, she said. See? Not all billionaires are villains, I grinned. Who said I'm a billionaire? Please, she scoffed. You could buy the cafe where you used to sleep 10 times over, I chuckled. Maybe I'll just buy them better chairs instead, she laughed. You're impossible, I sipped my coffee. So Ryan, lawsuits? Several, she said. Investors are suing for fraud. Apparently he was faking numbers for years. I tilted my head. Figures. He always wanted the spotlight, even if it burned him. People online are calling it poetic justice, she said. I shrugged. Maybe it is. But I didn't need to write the poem. Maya looked impressed. You sound peaceful. I think I am, I said quietly. For the first time in years, she smiled. Then maybe this is your real victory. I looked out the window, sunlight breaking through the clouds. Yeah, I think so. Silence stretched between us, comfortable this time. Maya broke it first. You ever think about what you'd say to him if you met again? Ryan? I asked. Yeah, I paused. Probably nothing. Maybe just thank you. She raised a brow. Thank you? For teaching me exactly who I never want to become. Maya smiled. That's deep. It's honest, I said. I used to want him to suffer. Now I just want to live better. You already are. I looked at her. You think so? I know so, she said.
You didn't let hate rot you.
That's rare, I leaned forward. Maybe. Or maybe I just got tired of bleeding for people who stopped caring. She nodded. Tired can be good. It means you're done carrying it. Her words stayed with me even after she left. I opened my laptop, typed Nova Mind Foundation into a blank document, and stared at the blinking cursor. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't chasing something or running from someone. I was just here. Later that evening, Liam knocked on my office door. Hey, boss. You see the news? I did, he grinned. Wild, right? Everyone's calling it karma, I smiled. Maybe it is, he hesitated. You okay? Better than okay, I said. Why? You just look different, calmer. I think that's what happens when the noise stops, he nodded. Glad to hear it. You deserve peace, man. Thanks, Liam. Go home. Get some rest. When he left, I sat alone in the dim office, the city lights reflecting off the glass. Karma. Such an easy word. People throw it around like it's magic, but I'd learned it wasn't about punishment. It was about balance. Ryan fell because of who he was. I rose because of who I chose to become. No revenge, no bitterness, just alignment. I opened a new email draft to the board, to Maya, to the investors, announcing the new foundation. Subject line, starting over. I typed one line at the end before hitting send. Let's build something that outlives our pain. And for the first time, I didn't feel like proving anything to anyone. I just felt free. The hall shimmered with soft gold light, the kind that makes everything look perfect for a moment. The charity gala was louder than I liked. Laughter, clinking glasses, cameras flashing. I wasn't here to celebrate anything. I was here to give back, to mean something more than profit. Ethan Cole, the host announced as I walked in. Heads turned, smiles, compliments. A few years ago, I would have felt out of place. Tonight, I just felt steady. Maya nudged me. You clean up well, boss, I laughed. You mean I finally look like I know what I'm doing? Something like that, she said. Just don't hide in the corner like last year, I smiled. No promises. As we moved through the crowd, I noticed her, Elena. For a second, everything inside me went quiet. She stood near the bar, a champagne flute untouched in her hand, thinner, eyes dull. Makeup couldn't hide the exhaustion. When our eyes met, hers widened. She froze. Maya followed my gaze and whispered, That's her, isn't it? Yeah, I said softly. You okay? I am, I replied. And for once, it was true. Elena hesitated, then started walking toward me. Her heels clicked like echoes from a life I'd buried. Ethan, she said, her voice trembling. Elena, you look different. I should hope so. It's been a while, she nodded, eyes flickering down. You look happy. I am. Silence stretched between us, filled with everything we'd never said. She tried to smile.
I've read about you.
Nova Mine's everywhere. You've done amazing things. Thank you, I said simply. Her gaze lingered on my face. You really did it. I did, she swallowed hard.
I always knew you were smart. I just didn't think you'd make it without you.
I finished gently, her eyes filled. I didn't mean it like that. I know, I said. But you did mean it once. She looked down. I was stupid. I thought money was everything. Ryan promised me a life I thought you couldn't give. And did he? She flinched. He gave me lies and debt. And silence, I nodded slowly. I'm sorry he hurt you, she blinked. You're sorry? After everything? Yeah, I said. Because pain like that leaves marks. I know what it's like, her lip trembled. I don't deserve your kindness. It's not kindness, I said. It's peace, she stepped closer.
Do you ever think about us?
Sometimes, I admitted. Mostly when I wonder who I used to be. Her eyes searched mine. Do you hate me, Ethan? I shook my head. No, not anymore, she exhaled shakily. I wish I'd never walked away. I looked at her. Really looked. The woman who once shattered me now looked like a stranger trying to hold on to a ghost. So do I said softly. But if you hadn't, I wouldn't be here. Tears welled up in her eyes. You really forgave me. I had to, I said. Otherwise, I'd still be standing in that rain waiting for you to come back. She bit her lip. I don't even know who I am anymore. You'll figure it out, I said. The same way I did alone, her shoulders trembled. You make it sound easy. It wasn't, I said quietly. But it was worth it. Maya appeared beside me again, sensing the moment. They're calling you to the stage, Ethan, I nodded. Coming, Helena wiped her eyes. You're really leaving? Yes. She reached out as if to stop me, but her hand fell. Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Elena. I turned away. As I walked toward the stage, applause filled the room. I didn't look back. When I spoke to the crowd about hope, rebuilding, and second chances, I wasn't just talking to them. I was talking to myself, to the version of me that once thought love had to break you to be real. Forgiveness wasn't a gift to her. It was my release, and under the bright lights surrounded by strangers who believed in me, I finally understood the best revenge was peace. The night air was cool, sharp with the scent of rain and city smoke. I stood on the balcony, hands resting on the glass rail. Below me, the skyline pulsed with light, moving, alive, unstoppable. Maya's voice broke the quiet. You should come inside. Everyone's waiting to toast you. I smiled faintly. I will.
Just needed a minute. She leaned against the door frame.
You always need a minute. I guess I still like the silence, I said. It reminds me where I came from. She folded her arms. You've come a long way, Ethan, from coding on napkins to owning half the skyline. I chuckled. Don't exaggerate. Maybe a quarter, she laughed softly. Still the same humor. Just with better clothes. Thanks to you, I said. And Arjun. You both believed when no one else did. Maya's smile faded. You believed too. That's what mattered. For a while, neither of us spoke. The city lights reflected in the glass, tiny stars trapped between us. Then she said quietly, Do you ever think about her? I turned my gaze to the horizon. Sometimes. What do you think about? The rain, I said. And how cold it was that night. How empty the apartment felt when she walked out. Maya nodded slowly. That was a lifetime ago. Feels like yesterday sometimes, I admitted. I can still hear her voice telling me I'd never make it. Funny how words can live in your head long after people leave. She stepped closer. You proved her wrong. I didn't do it for that, I said. I did it because I couldn't stand the version of me she left behind. Maya tilted her head. The one who begged? I exhaled. Yeah, that boy died the night she closed the door. And maybe he needed to. She was quiet for a moment. You don't sound angry anymore. I'm not, I said. Anger built me. But peace keeps me standing. Her lips curved. That's poetic. I guess pain teaches poetry, I said with a faint smile. She studied me for a second. You know, people at the party are calling you a legend. The man who turned Heartbreak into an empire. I laughed softly. They should know the empire was built out of sleepless nights, not romance. That's not the story they want, she said. They want the fairy tale. Then let them have it, I replied. I don't owe anyone the truth except myself. Maya reached for the door again. You sure you don't want to come back in? In a bit, I said. Just a few more minutes. She nodded and left me alone with the night. I looked out again. The mansion's windows glowed behind me. Success, comfort, everything I once thought I needed someone else to give me. Now it was mine. I whispered to the wind. I made it. The city didn't answer, but I didn't need it to. For a moment, I thought of Elena again, her eyes, her laughter, her cold goodbye. But the memory didn't sting anymore. It just existed, like an old scar that no longer hurt when touched. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. I saw the news. Congratulations. You became everything you dreamed of. No name, but I didn't need one. I typed back slowly. Thank you. Then, after a pause, I added, I hope you find your peace too. I hit send and slipped the phone back into my pocket. The rain began to fall again. Soft, steady, familiar. I closed my eyes and let it touch my face. For the first time, I didn't hide from it. Liam's voice called from inside. Boss! They're starting without you. I turned slightly. Tell them I'm coming. He grinned from the doorway. Still dramatic. Always, I said, laughing. When he disappeared, I took one last look at the city. The boy who once cried in that cafe was gone. The man standing here had learned something he never thought he would. That heartbreak doesn't destroy you. It defines you, reshapes you, and sometimes it saves you, I whispered to myself. She walked away when I needed her most, but maybe that's exactly why I learned to walk on my own. And for the first time in years, I truly felt free.